Hi, welcome to the video. I just thought I'd spend a few minutes today explaining where I've got to with my first RC truck. Been pretty good, really enjoyed it so far. Found along the way that there have been quite a few things that I've had to work out. I thought that others might benefit from some of the things that I've learned. Okay, starting with the radio control. I was pretty determined not to have to operate everything off sticks. I have tried this, and I found that I tend to forget what each of the buttons do, and I find myself disconnecting the truck while I'm running along. Anyway, I had this old Robbie Futaba F16 lying around, and it's been in the loft many years, but rather usefully, it comes with a radio module, and Orange RX have, I think, fairly recently brought out a 2.4 gigahertz module which works with the Spectrum DSM-2 stuff. So I put this in, you know, hoping for the best, because these aren't terribly expensive, and lo and behold, it actually works with my Spectrum and Spectrum compatible receivers. Now, as far as the F16 itself goes, what I've done is I've actually assigned quite a few of the multifunction unit controls to various switches, just to give you some idea of what does what at the moment. Over here you've got your throttle, as you might expect, and on the right hand side you've got steering. I put this plastic thing in over the top of the right hand side, because what I've done is I've got the truck release and decoupling on the up and down, and I don't want to accidentally do that when I'm going along. On the slider here I've put the gear change, although I must admit I found that I tend to drive the truck the whole time in the lowest gear. I've assigned some controls to the switches at the top here, and on the left hand side you've got the volume up and the volume down, which is quite a handy thing to do, because driving the truck around late at night when I'm fiddling around, not very popular in the house at full volume. On this switch here I've got a couple of optional hooters. The buttons here, I've got my left indicator, I've got my right indicator. If you hold the buttons down for slightly longer, you get other functions. So if you hold this down for a long time, I think it's more than 2 seconds, you get the 4 indicators. What I've also put on here is I've put, if you hold it down for a short time, your front fog lights. If you hold it down for a long time, rear fog lights. Then on this switch here, you hold it down for a long time, you get your side lights and your rear lights. You get your dipped beam if you hold it for a short time upwards, and hold it up for a long time, and you get your main beams. What I've also done with this channel here is if you flick the switch up, you can actually get the thing to flash. Now, the multifunction unit which I used wasn't actually the Tamiya one. I thought I could probably have some more fun by using the product made by Beier, and easy enough to find on the internet, and they're actually supplied in the UK by a really great fellow, Alan, who at Aztec Models. He'll give you loads of advice on the phone, and the price is actually a lot cheaper than the Tamiya multifunction unit. The firmware in the multifunction unit seems to be upgraded all the time, and actually when you plug the thing in, you actually get new firmware. The instructions are thankfully produced in English, and you get a very comprehensive manual such as this with the USM-RC-2, which is the unit which I've got. And in the trailer, because I didn't want to keep unplugging it, I thought I'll put in the infrared light module. The instructions are for it here. With the buttons on the transmitter, I actually got these switches from from a maplin, and with a little bit of soldering and a couple of resistors, you can get all of the functions which I just talked about. The wiring diagram for doing that is actually included in the manual. Here we go. In the instructions, a pretty simple wiring diagram, and if you don't fancy doing this yourself, you can actually get ready-built units quite cheaply, I think, from Beier themselves. The multifunction unit, and I'll just show you that in the truck, actually installs quite neatly, and I've been able to put the fellow in the truck and the seats and everything else and the wiring goes away all quite neatly. The unit itself actually is programmed on the PC, and you have this little micro SD card, you can probably just about see it there, which you put into the PC, and you can program everything that you can really think of, I guess. You've got sound options, you've got lighting options, and actually a number of functions which which you can actually run off the unit. It has a whole number of inputs and outputs. Sound files you can download from the Beier site or anywhere else on the internet, and you can pretty well program everything that you can think of. I've only just started scratching the surface with this, and I've been really pleased with it so far. Onto the truck itself. The truck I bought, and I've kept it fairly standard. Certain things I have done which I think were probably worth doing. First of all, in order to get the truck to run smoothly, what I found is that a normal speed controller didn't really do it for me. So the speed controller which I put in here is a Tekin FX-R Pro, which is something which I've taken out of one of my rock crawling trucks, and it kind of gives me all of the tunability that I would want. The other thing which I've done is I put a Novak 55 turn crawler motor in, again to give me the smooth driving. For the receiver, these receivers seem to have just come out, and this one is a DSM-2 compatible receiver, similar to the ones made by Orange, but curiously this company call themselves Lemon. This is a 10-channel receiver, which is fine to go with the transmitter, which is actually an 8-channel transmitter, and I've had no problems with it so far. The really good thing about it was only about £20 brand new from eBay, so worth looking out for. In terms of other modifications that I've made to the truck, I think I've pretty well done the things which most people do. So the plate here with the fifth wheel on it, that has been reversed around the other way to bring the trailer nearer to the back of the truck. It looks a bit better. And underneath the truck, if I just lift it over for a second and put the camera underneath, you'll probably be able to see that the steering arm is actually behind the front axle. This is a standard unit, I think, from Carson, which allows you to have better angles on the steering, and I found the steering a lot smoother. The other thing which I've done is I've taken off the Servo Saver because the steering was much too sloppy, and I've put a high-tech metal geared, reasonably high torque servo in with an alloy steering arm. That has given me much more precise steering. Moving on to programming the USM-2 on the PC. I've taken the SD card out of the multifunction unit here, and you just stick it into a normal converter. So stick it into a card reader like this with a USB port on the end of it, and just plug it in the PC. The software Just close those. The software actually comes on a CD or DVD with the unit, and programming is pretty simple. You've got a series of slots for all of the sounds that you might have. Tons and tons of configuration. Actually, one of them that I might just point out to you is for each of there are up to 3 channels where you can program everything. So here you can see where I've put my increasing, decreasing the volume. Couple of horns here. There's my headlight flash, which I spoke about. Over here, all of the various lights, the side lights, the right indicator, the left indicator, etc. It takes a little bit of figuring out, and it's very, very rewarding when something actually works. It's quite quick to save the data onto the card, stick it back in the truck and see what happens. And on that note, let's see what happens. Right, quick demonstration of how it all works. I'll just put the SD card back in the truck. Bit fiddly. There we go. That's in. Turn the transmitter on. There we go. We're in low gear. Turn the receiver on in the truck. Turn on the sound unit. Okay, so first of all, I'll just show you some of the lights. So, side lights. That was indicator. I have to hold it down for longer than that. That's it, that's the side lights. Left and right indicator on these two. Interestingly, you can actually use one of the channels so that if you put an indicator on, okay, so here you see the left indicator. So if you were to drive left and then straighten up again, what it does is it cancels the indicator when you're driving along. You've got your 4 indicators, which will be that, and to cancel them you just do the same thing. And I'll just quickly go through some of the other lights. So you've got your low beam, which come on quite gradually. If I wanted to flash, it will be with that button there. If I wanted to keep those lights on, I just hold this up and those lights are on. If I wanted my lower fog lamps, that will be on this button here. And similarly, I can turn them off. Okay, you've got the horn, or even if I hold it down longer, you can program in as many horns as you like. I've put the start stop for the engine on the switch up here, which actually causes the lights to flash as they turn on. All of these parameters are programmable. I can turn the volume up, or I can take the volume back down again. You can program in as many sounds as you like to the engine. Using the slider, I can actually put the truck kind of in neutral. So I'll just take you up through the noises which I programmed in. Okay, so some pretty good noises there, and on the back I've actually got 5 lights in each side, and these lights come ready mounted on boards. Quite expensive, but actually I think quite worth it. This is the place that I got them from. It's Carrefour style, and it's German, and you can buy these on email. Just eBay. Just to give you an idea of some of the functionality. Put the truck in reverse, and you'll hear that there's a slight beeping sound too. The brakes come on, and I program them to come on for about a second. You've got your indicators. That's all 4 of them. You can obviously have one or the other, and it has got separate rear fog lights as well. If I just put those on, you can see that they come in the middle and they're extra bright. As far as the decoupling goes, the way that the truck works is in order to release the trailer, the servo pulls back, and you may be able to see in there the jaws opening. And in order to operate the electric legs on the trailer, when the servo goes the other way, if you look to see where my thumb is, a little rod comes out and it connects with something underneath the trailer, which activates all of that. Now, in the trailer, as I mentioned before, I've got the infrared unit, and at the moment, if you just look here in the back, I've put the infrared receiving LED, and that will be picking up the signal from the transmitting LED on the truck. By the time I've finished, what I'm planning to do is to put the transmitting LED in a hole underneath the 5th wheel, and underneath the truck, this pin here, a company called Servo actually do a hollow one of these, which I will be putting the receiving LED inside underneath, so that the unit only works when the truck is coupled up. At the moment, if you're within about 10 feet of the truck, it will activate, which obviously, if there's more than one truck using the system, it will be quite unhelpful. So, if I just back the truck up, I'll show you the coupling and the uncoupling. The camera angle might be a little bit better. Put it into low gear. And it is clicked. Then raise the legs. And the truck is away. If I just push the switch, which I've installed here, on, you'll see that the lights have come on, and they're the same as on the back of the truck itself. Well, that's the end of this video. I hope you found it useful. Please let me know. Click like, dislike, comments, anything you like. It's kind of awkward doing a video where you're talking on it, but actually I think people might find that interesting, and I'll try and do some other videos showing the truck running with different trailers, a forklift truck which I've converted to proper RC. Until next time, thank you for watching.